Hi everyone, excuse me, welcome to another Make a Card Monday. We're all bright and cheery on a Monday morning because we get to make cards. We're going to be playing with, you would have seen them on my Facebook page and probably Instagram. We're going to be making this card today. Good morning, Kerry. We're going to be doing, I think we'll do the yellow one. I haven't decided yet, and that one was the purple one. So we're going to be playing with these. I'm going to show you how I have coloured these in. It is pretty easy. We did it at Lincoln Learn, so the girls managed to do them okay. So I thought I would show you how to do them. I think we'll do the yellow one because the yellow seemed, I don't know whether, I did a poll and I think the yellow one was a bit more popular than the purple. It's a bit hard to tell. So morning, Wendy. I don't think that I've got a whole lot of things to tell you today. So how about we just swing the camera around and get started straight away, because that's what we want to do. Okay, so hang on a moment. I'll put my finger over. I don't know why I bother even coming on and showing my face. I might as well just, go straight into the card making, but let me put my finger over the camera and swing around. And I'm going to grab my camera stand instead of my phone this time, just to make sure that, I'm not knocking it out of the ballpark again, as what happened last week. That was a bit tricky. Okay, let's zoom in. There we go. So, and I'm just going to find myself on my own page so I can see what you guys can see. Get my setup. Hope you had a good weekend. There we go. Look at this. I love it when things all work perfectly. Fantastic. Okay, let's get started. So we're playing with the Country Home set again, and a few more of the pieces from this suite we're going to be playing with. And I love it when I get to cut things out because it means I can use up my scraps of cardstock. So let us grab, a bit croaky this morning, let's grab the milk can, put my cardstock in. Might actually do it that way. So just going, whoop, I've got cords and stuff. I need to find a better way to keep all my cords out of my way. So I'm just using my I was almost going to call it a Stamp-A-Majig, using my Stamparatus to just ink it up. And I'm using Whisper White, just the normal Whisper White, not the thick one, and my Memento ink because we're using the Stampin' Blends. So that one all nicely done. So what were the plans over the weekend? We had a pretty easy weekend, I have to say, although my husband did work Saturday, and my son did a double shift on Saturday, so maybe it was just me taking it easy over the weekend. So I'm going to do that, and also need my cotton bunch. A bunch of cotton and flowers. Oh, never mind. So I'm just going to ink that up. Lazy Saturday. Everyone's getting, I guess it's not that long till on stage now. What's that, August? Oh, we're September, October, November. So what's that? Is that less than 2 months? Okay. Good morning to everyone who's coming in. We are playing with our Stampin' Blends again today. Okay, I can shift that way out of the way today. Pop them back. I really should have all my stamping done beforehand, but anyway. Okay, so we're going to start with the milk can first. If I can pick it up. Now, I was playing the other morning and I've put I need to get some more of these containers, but I put all my purples and blues in one, my pinks and reds in another. I think I put my, and then I've got 2 pencil cases, but I need to get some more. Okay, so I put my greens and yellows in this one. All right, so I'm going to be using the 4 yellows that we have to start with. So I have out in front of me, oh, fumbly fingers this morning. I have the dark mango melody. I have the light mango melody, the dark daffodil delight, and the light daffodil delight. Okay, but I'm not going to use them in this order. I am actually going to use the 2 darks first, so the dark mango and the dark daffodil, and then the light mango and then the light daffodil. Now, what a really cool thing to do is, this is where these strips of cardstock that you cut out all come in handy, because what I'm just going to do is just do a little color swatch, so that I know when I'm trying to work out what colors I want to use, I'm just going to put them in an order that I think will blend nicely, hence the 2 darks together and then the 2 lights together, so that I can get something that will flow, like go down. Because if I put these 2 around the other way, this one is actually darker than the light one, if you know what I mean. So I just want them in that color order where they're going to go down in darkness. Okay, so, and I sometimes keep these color swatches as well, like I'll write what they are, so that the next time I come to play with something, I sort of have a better idea of what colors I'm going to use in what order. So I'm going to start with my dark, and I'm going to go around. Now you can imagine that this is like this shape, like that. So, and if I want my light to be coming straight on, the middle section here is going to have a little bit of shine. So I'm going to actually leave that white. Hey, Susan. So I'm going to start off with my dark, and I'm going to put, you can try and imagine that there's a ridge here. So that would be dark underneath. Come around. That would be dark around where this handle goes, because it's sitting on top. Down the side. Uh-oh, I think my husband has just come home and he won't know that I'm here live. And so hopefully he doesn't yell out. So I'm going to have to think quick here, because he'll probably call out my name. How embarrassing. So, and then I'm going to go under here. Now, this would be a ridge. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit closer. Hang on, guys. So under here would be a ridge. So that would be dark under there. Make sure I can, yep, still in the frame. So that would be dark under there. So then I'm going to come in with my dark Daffodil Delight, and I'm just using the bullet tip, if I can get the lids off, and I'm going to go over the top of the mango and just extend it down a little bit. Okay, oops, I didn't actually do anything on that handle. Okay, so over the yellow. Here we go. Is he going to yell out for me? Just remembering that in this section here, we want that to be, I'm waiting for it. We want that to be white. Okay, so just wherever I've gone over. Sorry guys, I cannot talk and colour in at the same time. Swing it around, it's easy to use on this way. Hey Maggie. easy, so nothing too hard just yet. Easy. Okay, so the next colour that we're going to use, I'm going to be doing with the light Mango Melody. And I'm going to switch around now, and I'm actually going to use the brush tip edge, and I'm going to change my motion light. That one was a bit more colouring, but this time I'm going to swing it around, and I'm actually going to do a bit more of a flicking motion. So coming over all of it, and I'm just going to flick. And this is where I do need to be a little bit more careful because I want that white line. So I'm just going to flick as I go. Okay. And then swing it around because I find it always, oh no, everybody's different when they colour, isn't it? So, I mean, like, I'm no professional, but this is how I find things work for me. So, I guess you just play and figure out what works for you best. I know some people start with the light first and then work their way up to the dark. So, just flicking. And I've got a fairly white, large gap there, so I can actually, you know, make my flicking motions a little bit stronger because we don't want a completely white gap, but we do want some. And I'm just going to bring a little bit on there. Okay, and then I'm going to use my final color, which is the light Daffodil, and then I'm just going to continue that flicking. And this way I can really bring them into the middle. Just try and have a little bit of the white. Keep flicking. Hey, Shona. Ooh, -5. That's not very friendly. We're supposed to have 22 today. The sun is shining, but of course I'm still frozen. So you can see I'm getting that shine happening, and I just want to flick until I'm all blended. Oh, I think my yellow's running out as well. Look, it's starting to get a little bit lighter there on the ends. So I've got that shine happening. Now I think where it really comes into play is if you go back with your dark one. So I need my dark Mango Melody again, and you just go over, like I'm going to actually bring in the card that I have finished. So if you can see the difference between the two of them, I'm not sure that you can, but I want to show you. Here you go, that might be better. You can actually see it now. So you can see how the next step that I'm going to do, you know, what it actually does, if you get what I mean. So that's the before and after. But coming back in with your dark and going under these areas again, I think helps tremendously. So under there would be the ridge. So we just want to come under there. Down the sides again, around the base. Okay, and then almost done. Just going to come over with my dark one again, my dark Daffodil, and just blend that down just a smidge down under those ones. Like that. so there is my jug finished. Okay, now I'm going to cut that out in time. So we'll get to the point where I've done my colouring, and then you guys can sort of let me. I'm actually going to pull this up and show you close up, so you can see really close up that these lines are quite jagged. They're not a smooth line, but I find that when you're looking at it from a distance, it looks like it's got a bit of a shine on it. So I'm not too fussed, and I think the yellow actually, like with the darker colors, because I couldn't go down one more color with my purple. If I'd had one more lighter one, I think that would have really helped, but because the yellow is so pale, it looks like it's got more of a shine, like that white isn't, you know what I mean. Trying to say it, but you know what I mean. Okay, right, what's next? Green. So I'm going to do my green first, and I'm using, I do believe I used Granny Apple Green, light and dark, and then I know this is probably going to freak you out, but I'm going to use, I'll use my little colour swatch thing here again. I used Granny Apple Green, dark and light, and then I used Pineapple Punch. Okay, I know, don't get too worked up. I think I used the light one. Did I use the light one? Did I use the dark one? I cannot be remembering. Let's use the dark one, okay? Okay, a little bit different, I know, but it works, don't worry. Okay, so for the leaves, I'm going to start off with my dark first. Now, I could not figure out these things here. I don't know whether they're leaves or I put them as, come back and put them as cotton. So that's what I'm going to do again today. It sort of balanced it a little bit nicely. So I'm going to come in with the dark first. And like I said, I'm no professional at this. This is just what I've played with and what works for me. And it might work for you. Is that all of the leaves? I think so. Good morning to everyone else who's coming in. Now I'm coming in with my light Granny Apple Green, going over my dark and extending out. Okay, hopefully my hand's not in the way. So I'll always go over the colour I've just put down. I think that's all of the leaves. Squeaky, squeaky. Okay, now this is where I'm going to put down the Pineapple Punch, which is actually a yellow. All right, but going over all of the three, like so, over all colours, and they sort of seem to blend quite nicely. I mean, you don't have to put the yellow in. It just sort of brightens everything up a little bit. So, and then before I think that's all my greens. Before I go and put my, oh no, I want them purple. Oh, all right, so I'll put them away. Those bits are coloured in green. I did them, I'm going to leave them as if they were cotton because I think it sort of balances a little bit better. Okay, speaking of cotton, I am going to use, look at this, look at all these beautiful purples, and I'm going to use dark Pool Party. I know that cotton is white, but I'm actually going to put a little bit of Pool Party just around the base of those cottons. If I can get my words out. Like I said, I'm not very good at colouring in and talking at the same time. Can usually do a few things, but that is not one of them. And then, yeah, these things, I don't know what they are. They don't look like leaves to me, but they don't look like that either. Okay, so that just gives a very, very light, just sort of takes away the edge a little bit. Now I need to find my, actually I'll come back in, because we're using Blackberry Bliss, I'm getting out my, Blackberry Bliss is the paper that we're using, so I need to find my Blackberry Bliss, which are these two, I do believe. Okay, so that I can do, I've got Blackberry Bliss and I've got Rich Razzleberry out. So I want to do the contrasting. I just want to put a bit of purple in. So I'm just going to do a little bit of, and I really don't know how to do the flowers. So I just put a little bit of dark down and a little bit of light. And I'm going to do these little berry things here in purple as well. More things as you play, you will figure them out. So as long as, I just go over the top. Oops, I think they're too small, they just get washed out. But it's handy to do a little, like a little colour swatch. And then I will use my light Rich Razzleberry just to finish those flowers off. Like I said, I've really got no idea about them. But anyway, we'll pretend like we do. Okay, and the last thing is those things there. And I have no idea what they are either. But I am going to use, see, look at me, I've all organised. I'm going to use Pumpkin Pie, light and dark, and Cajun Craze. Throwing my stuff around. Actually, I'm going to leave it on the floor because I can't reach it without tipping everything over. So hopefully I'll remember it's there. So I'm going to use Cajun Craze, Pumpkin Pie, and Pumpkin Pie. Seed pods from the Lotus Blossom. And I assume that they are brown. Well, they're going to be brown. Let's put it that way. I figured, well, Cajun Craze is in the, I don't even know what the Lotus Blossom looks like. I'm going to have to go and check out some of my flowers. Okay, so I'm doing dark around the edges and a little bit more on the right hand side. So I'm going to go lightly on the left hand side and then a little bit heavier on this side. Then with my pumpkin, I'm going to come in over the top of my Cajun. And then finally with my light and come in over the top. Something like that. It will do. Now, I am going to cut out and finish my card, so I would love for you to stick around and join me for it, but I understand, because sometimes it gets a little bit boring. Or if you're watching the replay, you can easily fast forward, can't you? So I will continue to make my card. So, and the milk carton doesn't really take very long to cut out. It's a good one. And cutting out and talking is very hard too, don't you think? The yellow looks awesome. I do think my light one, actually, you know what? Sometimes I think holding on to I'm going to have to label some. I'm going to hold on to my dry ones because I think that when you want to go really, really pale, I think the drier ones could actually be really helpful. So I'm going to have to, because I've got a pool party that is quite dry, but I'm actually going to keep it now and just mark it, put a thing that, perhaps put some washi tape around it so I know that it's a dry one. And now, where am I going to start? That's always the trickiest, isn't it? And that way, when you want to get really pale, I reckon one of those drier blender blends, I shouldn't say blender pen, blends, could actually come in handy. Now I'm going to be particularly fussy with my cutting, so I'll try and get it in the screen. So I do hope that you all get out your blends and have a play. I think these ones are a nice size because, you know, using your 4 colours, you can actually get quite a bit of shading and blending going on, especially with that flicking, and to get that nice shine. Okay, halfway there. Going round. So where is everyone from? Are we a Monday morning or are we a Sunday night? And of course, if you're watching the replay, it could be any time. It is so nice, Stephanie. I know that it's coming into spring over here, and these are a bit more of a fall-y type thing, an autumny thing, but quite like them. Quite like it. Yeah, the blends, I think they got the blends right this time. I have all of them. I just need to get some more storage or some whopping big pencil cases or something so I can keep them. But I've tried to, I had them all laid out here on my floor the other day, and that's why I went and put them all in their spectrum. So I've kept, although then I kept running out of room, so I've put all my purples and my blues together, and sort of helps me also when I want to work out what colours I need, like for that one, you know, with the 4 shades and all that type of thing. So at the doctor's car park. Oh. See, at least you can. Now I did discover too that this one actually looks better with the can over the top rather than the flowers over the top. Like the one that I made last week, I had the flowers over the top, but this one actually looks better the other way around. Okay, so let us make our card. I don't know how long I've been chatting for, but the card itself won't take too long. So now that we've done the bulk of it, I've got everything else pre-done for us. So I'm using a base of thick Whisper White. Actually, I might do it this way. There was a blemish on my card, but if I do it this way, I can actually cover that blemish. So, whoopsie. Okay, I have used, this thick Whisper White cardstock, and then I've used just an ordinary piece of white cardstock, but I've run it through with the Tin Tile Dynamic. Now this is one of those really thick embossing folders that comes out with a whole heap of detail. So let me just stand up and show you. And it's great because you can use whatever side you want. They're both pretty darn cool. Love this one. Adds so much texture to your cards. Okay. And actually, I don't even know which one I'm going to use. So, still enjoying my tear and tape. Why, thank you, Jan. Sunday night in Wyoming. Cool. Okay. No, I didn't spray this one. Oops. I haven't had to spray any of my cardstock. I'm not sure whether my Big Shot is like a little bit different, but I haven't had any problem with any tearing, so no, I didn't spray beforehand. Oh, goodness me. There you go. It does take longer. I should just set up another snail. Oh. By golly gosh, there we go. Okay. Now, white on white is sometimes hard to line up, but let's see if we can get that. Okay. Now, next is I love, love, love this pack. I don't like these sides. I struggle with them. I think they're a little bit busy, but I absolutely love all the textures that are on the other side. The purples, the Blackberry Bliss, and the crushed curry are just really nice. See, and the other thing I want to point out is that this is crushed curry, but I've not used any crushed curry. So they seem to work quite well. All right, get that off. Stick this down towards the bottom. About there, I reckon. Okay, now I want to show you also these absolutely delightful chicken wire elements. Now they are very, very fine, so you do have to be a little bit delicate with them. They are super, super, you just pop them out. Have a look at that. They are really, really, it's like, oh, super fine foil. So, and I want this to be 4 centimeters. So I'm just gonna pop that in. Actually, I'm gonna be naughty and I'm just actually gonna trim off a little bit of those because I sort of don't want them. I want it to look like it's open. Whoops. And so we want 4 centimeters. Look at them. They are really, really delicate, really fine. You can use them as a whole piece, like they'll cover a whole card front, or you can just slice them up and get more out of them. This stamp set is lovely. It's I think it's a sleeper, but it is such a pretty. Oh, go back in there. Might need to find an alternative container for them. I'm just going to leave them. Now, getting them down, I'm just going to use my two-way glue pen. So, but if you've got the fine tip, it'll probably work quite well. But I'm just going to dot that over. Sorry if you can't see it, but I tend to put my gluey stuff over to the side so that my work doesn't get on it. Okay. So I'm going to stick this towards the bottom area. Like that. And then have a look at that. That's just so cool. You don't actually need, you know, I always put sequins on everything, but I didn't this time because look at that. There's so much going on its own that I don't actually require anything else. And I've got another strip of the Designer Series paper. So they just all work together beautifully. Purple and yellow go together so nice. I think I'm pretty sure they're opposites on the, or is that purple and orange? I'm pretty sure they're opposites on the colour wheel. Oh. I'll have to look that up. Or is it's orange and green? Maybe it is. I shall have to look it up. Okay, so I want to pop this down going not quite towards the bottom. I'm really dreadful with layering things, so bear with me. I'm not real good at, you know, those little bits and pieces that go down sometimes. Okay, my flowers. Actually, I'm going to pop down my milk carton first. I'm not going to put my dimensional right up against the lip. I'm sort of going to leave it down a little bit. You know, I've run out of them. There we go. More things to get. Yes. I'll have to try this with watercoloring next instead of the blends. Now I'm going to pop this down so that my milk carton is just below the designer series paper, because it ends up being quite tall when you've got the flowers in, so you can afford to put the milk can towards the bottom area. And a bit of tape. Get the darn stuff off, and then I'm just going to pop a little bit of the two-way. I'm not going to put it up the top because I'm going to pop that underneath so it just sits underneath the can, but I'm going to sort of fold my little bits of cotton up the top there, just bend them back ever so slightly. So they've got a little bit of lift on them. Okay, and then the last step is, of course, your sentiment. And I am always needing birthday cards, so another birthday sentiment it is. And this one is from my favourite, the Sunshine Sayings. It's a tongue twister, I can never get it out, but it is my favourite. It's just a sweet little, and I think that moved. Did that move? Yes, it did. It moved. All right. Let's try that again. Hold firm. There we go. That's a bit better. Trim this one so that it fits. It's such, you know, I have to say I use this one all the time. It is a handy one. The font is just sort of suits everything. It's a handy one to have. All right. Now because this is sitting upright, I'm only going to put my dimensionals on this end so that this end is will sit flush on top of that. Oh good, it is. Purple is the opposite. Yeah, see, I thought so. So I'm just going to put a little bit of sticky on that. Thank you guys. I quite liked. When I go to Link and Learn, I teach up at our Uniting Church every Wednesday, and class starts at 10 o'clock. I drop the kids to school at 8:30. Well, most of the time we're running late, but I usually get home just before 9, so it's not really 8:30. And it's usually then that I decide what we're going to make. So I have an hour to get my stuff together. So I'm so glad that they actually trust me in class, because generally it's a spur of the moment thing. So, but this is what we came up with last week. So now I've got a few more happy birthday cards. So if you're in my team and you have a birthday in October, you may be getting one of these. I try and send birthday cards to all my team members each month. So of course that's why I make lots of birthday cards in our lives, because I'm always requiring them. So there we go. Quick and, well, I won't say quick, it's probably not too quick, but it is an enjoyable process, and the colouring in was really, really enjoyable as well. So, and quite easy, I think. It's not too hard. So even if you stamp an image and replay and, you know, do it with me at the same time, and that way you can get your skills up as well. Like I said, I'm no professional. I'm just playing, and I'm really enjoying my playing. So I was going to say, is that what you do with your masses, Amanda? So thank you very much for joining me. If you've liked what you've seen and you think that other people may benefit from it, feel free to share my video or tag someone who you think might enjoy it. So thanks for watching, and we will see you again next Monday. So cheers, bye.